Do you suffer with harvest losses? I've seen farmers suffer from harvest losses, and I know you have too, even if you don't know about it. And that's why today at the Patura Seed Pit Stop, I'm joined by Justine Cornelson, agronomic product development with Brett Young. Did I get that mouthful right?
Close. We're agronomic manager, product manager, but we'll work with it.
We're getting there. Regardless, she's responsible for ensuring the varieties are ready for your field. And so that's what I want to talk a little bit about, because we quite often talk about pod shatter at harvest time. Why is one variety better than the other? And there's lots of different outcomes that cause that. So how can a producer make a decision on a variety, and what tools can they use to make that decision for what canola seed they want?
Yeah, so growers are obviously well aware of the shattering potential that's out there, and there's been a lot of confusion on the marketplace, and this is mainly due to companies promoting and advertising products very differently. So one of the big things that's happened in the last couple of years is the Canadian canola industry has agreed upon a universal scale. So it's a 1 to 9 scale where they can rate the pod shattering potential of a product. So a product that rates a 1 or a 2 will shatter or shell out really bad, where a product that falls on that higher end, like 7, 8, 9, is going to hold on to that seed really, really well. So having the scale in place, companies can rate their hybrids, so a grower can go to one company and see what it rates, and then compare that to a competitor. So it helps just standardize the ratings out there.
Can you give an example of like swathed variety, what its rating would be, and what a standard pod shatter variety would be out there?
So really dependent on the company, right? So this is where there's some nuances within the scale. For us at Brett Young, what we consider to be a pod shatter rated product, so something that has a trait that's going to hold on to that seed really well, is going to rate above a 7. The industry standard or check that's on the scale is, I believe it's 255 PC. It falls around an 8. So that's kind of the gauge, and companies will rate their hybrids in comparison to that. Something that's going to be swathed is going to fall in those middle type numbers or anything lower. So 45H33 is the other industry check, and it falls around a rating of 4 on that system.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's a wide range. Now I know some of the feedback we have is growers might grow the same variety year after year, but they might see different scenarios happen in the field because of environmental conditions. And I know this is going to play into a little bit of your discussion about what you're seeing in some of your breeding lines and why they express differently.
Yeah, that's something we do see, though that number really does change, depending on the conditions, depending when we harvest it, and through breeding partners we have trials that are set up solely for looking at pod shatter, so we're going to leave those products out, we're going to leave them late into the fall and harvest them then and see what type of shattering we get. Typically, the differences are going to change from year to year. So we're going to take that hybrid's performance over time and adjust that score. And that's something we're doing at Brett Young. A product might rate as a 7.5 one year, and then the next year it'd be upwards of an 8. So we're going to take those averages. We're going to look at it from different locations across Western Canada, but also over time and environmental conditions.
So over time, more number of site years, more consistent data. And that's one really interesting thing. Have you been able to narrow down what environmental conditions allow genes to express themselves in a stronger way versus a lighter way? It's a loaded question, I know, but...
Yes, yeah. No, and you know, it's taking good data notes, and at these different trial locations, the environmental data, and it kind of falls into the big data conversation, right? We collect all this information, so now let's actually do something about it. So as we tease through and get more data on this subject, it's something we'll look at further. We've got different types of tests, right? So different trials are going to show different results based on how they're being conducted. So a leaf blower test versus a random impact test, like I said, we get lots of different scores. So to take that all in and see how products are going to perform, hopefully we can tie that a little closer to environmental data.
I know one thing I can speak to is what we saw this year. The way pod shatter performed was much better than the year before. And it's just, what kind of conditions can we recognize? Anything else you would want to share or add to help growers make decisions to make sure they're making the best decision for their variety or for their field or for their farm?
So yeah, on that pod shatter front, one of the biggest components is there's now a diversity of genetic traits out there. So there's not just one pod shatter gene anymore. There's several, and companies have different traits that they are using, and they are going to express themselves very differently phenotypically based on the environment. So that is a key part that now, like I said, it's more traits, and we're going to see that coming to marketplace.
More data, more information, better decisions.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing from Justine. Thank you very
In
much.
a long-winded way, yes.
So to wrap up this Patura Seeds pit stop, 3 quick questions, 1-word answer. Are you ready?
1, 2-word.
Number 1, what are you most excited for in the egg industry?
Genetic traits.
Genetic traits, you heard it here first. Number 2, what color machinery piqued your interest or caught your eye at Egg Days?
I like red.
Red is the color, the go-to color. And number 3, in your position, Justine, what's the one skill or attribute that you can attribute to your success?
Accountability.
Accountability. Execution. If you have any further questions about pod shatter canola, how different varieties are performing in different conditions, please feel free to reach out to us or to Justine to allow you to be more profitable on your farm. Until the next pit stop, see you then.